One Piece chapter 1145. It is titled Wildfire in Forest Sector 2, Branch Route 8. We got actually 2 cover pages this week. The first one is of the Straw Hats watching the One Piece anime. I love all of their reactions, especially Luffy's, because he's pointing at himself like, hey, that's me. This is a way to shout out the One Piece anime returning, which it did last weekend with episodes 1123 and 1124. And if you guys want to see my reactions to those episodes, it's already up on my YouTube channel, and I'll leave it in the description below. Now, the second cover page is continuing Yamato's pilgrimage. After freeing Oti, she reunites with Page 1, who is still alive. Still wonder what the role of these two are going to be now that they're free, but with that out of the way, let's get into this breakdown. The chapter starts off with us back with Loki's group, Goldberg, Zoro, and Sanji. They are fighting a groggy Sora so that they can have food to eat. They successfully take it down with Sanji launching Zoro at the dinosaur, and he cuts the beast's head off. I love whenever they do different tag teams like this, especially whenever Sanji launches him. I recently rewatched One Piece Stampede. There was that scene with him and Shiki, as well as when they fought against the Broggy. I don't remember if it's the Broggy or Groggy monsters, one of the two during Long Ring Long Land. I also love Sanji's little remark saying, hey, I saw this graceful broccoli flying through the sky. That's probably a 10 out of 10 rose. While they were fighting Goldberg, he used a shield that had a mind of its own. My initial thoughts was that the shield ate a devil fruit, and the reason why I went there is because when we just saw Shamrock, we saw him use his sword and how it ate a devil fruit. It's the Cerberus, so that's why I thought that. But in actuality, Goldberg, he stated that the shield came back to life when his father came back from an expedition in order to vanquish Big Mom. So he came to life similar to other Big Mom homies, and I can't wait to see, hopefully we get to see the Zeus interaction, because we obviously know that Zeus, he's Nami's slave now, but back when he was a Big Mom pirate, all right, he had like a commander system. He was a well-known homie. And so now that all the sparks have kind of died down a bit regarding Loki's freedom, he started to inform everyone about how he ended up looking like he was about to be 6 feet under, and who did all this damage to him, about the Holy Knights, that they were the ones to attack him. And this is the first time that Luffy and the Straw Hats, at least anybody a part of their crew, heard anything regarding the Holy Knights. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't be surprised if Robin or Jinbei at least knew about them, because we know how much information that they carry, the knowledge that they know about the world. I freaking love Luffy and Loki's relationship. It's comedic, it's funny. It's a 10 out of 10 experience. Loki being the big bad that everyone fears, that everyone says is just a chaos bringer and that he's going to bring the end to the world. And Luffy just approaches him without a care in the world, feeds him hot food, burns him. Obviously, Luffy, he doesn't mean anything. He's trying to be helpful. Gerd is enjoying Loki's suffering, which makes Sanji ask, well, what the heck did Loki do that everyone hates him to this degree, which causes Zoro to bring up Loki and Luffy's promise, as he believes that Loki is lying. However, it's hard to say whether or not he is or isn't, but I personally believe that Loki, the statement regarding how he knows Shanks' location, I think he's telling the truth. But of course, he's not going to cough up the information, because Luffy technically didn't fully free him yet. He still has a sea prism cuff to his lower leg. And then it cuts into showcasing a little bit of how even more Luffy and Loki parallel, because apparently in the past, Loki, he idolized someone like Luffy did Shanks, and that person was none other than Rocksteady Xebec. This shows how Luffy and Loki, they idolized the two opposing factions that were there at God Valley. Loki and Xebec's interaction, it's very intriguing, because Loki was so adamant about joining his crew, and Xebec was so adamant about not wanting a brat to join them. Loki was fed up with it. He said, all right, Xebec, you're gonna fight me. Xebec pulled out his sword, mink destroyed Loki. He was in the Yamcha position, to which Whitebeard stated, you don't have to use a blade on a kid. You know you have aura, you know that you have pull. When you can tell Edward Newgate, you could tell Whitebeard to shut up. Whitebeard. I low-key feel bad for Loki. It's nasty work that he's been rejected by Xebec, Lola, Elbaph. Hey, I guess that's just the cursed prince for you. I wonder if Loki, we see him all the time ever since he was younger with bandages over his eyes. I wonder if he took out his eyes to prove to Rocks that he was ready to join the Rocks Pirates, which would further parallel him and Luffy, because we know how Luffy, when he was trying to prove to Shanks, how he got that scar under his eye and on his cheek. A few things to take away from this interaction. Number one, I need to know how strong Loki is, because obviously the version that fought against Xebec is way weaker than he is now because he was a kid. And I say a kid, but I guess technically he was roughly around 19 years old, and we know how weird and wonky giants' ages are. I'll go into a little bit more detail about how I got Loki's age a little bit later in the video, because it goes into another point. But the reason why I'm saying that Loki wasn't strong as he is now, because he even stated himself that he was born in the wrong era. The Loki now, we're actually not entirely sure how strong he is, because ideally, right, him fighting Shanks become a Yonko after defeating him, it makes sense that Loki is super strong. But at the same time, well, we know what happens when Kid fought Shanks. He got one-shotted. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about Loki being 19, and this goes into my second point and how built different Kaido was. We know that Xebec, he was the one to initiate contact, that he was the one that wanted to meet Kaido, sought him out, and wanted to recruit him to join his crew. Kaido was technically younger. If you look at the actual number, he was younger than Loki, but you know how it is, the whole giant age thing. Like I said, it's a little weird. Kaido was 15 when he joined the Rocks Pirates, and the reason why I stated that Loki was roughly 19 is because Kaido in the current story, or at least he was 59 years old when Luffy defeated him. And so quick math, if you do 59 minus 44, that equals 15, and Loki being 63, if you subtract 44, that will equal 19. The problem is I don't know the exact time frame of when Loki met up with him here. So like I said, take the age with a grain of salt. He could be maybe 1 or 2 years older, could be 1 or 2 years younger, but like I said, it just shows how built different Kaido was that Rocks wanted to seek him out. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I pump out different One Piece content almost each and every day. We cut to the fighters on the Great Eric, and they are trying to get rid of the different monsters in the forest. Gabon, he's going crazy as expected. Now, there was a line, I'm not entirely sure if Gabon was the one to say this or somebody else. We'll have to wait and see for the anime version, but there is a good point that was made about the child's imaginations, because they've never experienced the real Nika, the real Nidhogg, and all the other monsters. So I wonder if they did, if they interacted with Loki or Nika, if they would be stronger than what they are now. And I hope that that's something that we get to experience, or at least is cleared up later in the arc, because with the Holy Knights, yes, they're strong, but at the same time they're outnumbered. I think experiencing the true version of Nika or these other monsters, I think it will even the playing field a bit. After Saul had been fighting the Fenrir by himself, I said he ain't getting no help. Robin and Chopper, pom-poms only. He finally defeated the Fenrir. Firefighters, they're there trying to extinguish the fire. They're not really doing much, if I'm being honest, but hey, they're there, they're trying their best. The Holy Knights, they got their popcorn, they're sitting up in here watching as the whole scene plays out, where all of a sudden the sea clouds, Jinbei, he uses them, performs his patented shoulder throw, extinguishes the fire. Once the fire started, I immediately knew that Jinbei was going to play a role in extinguishing it, because him being a fishman and everything that he could do, it just made a lot of sense. The perfect example, just in one of the previous arcs, you had Wano and how he tag teamed with Raizo in order to spread the water throughout Onigashima. Everyone's celebrating because the fire's out, the kids are saved, and then all of a sudden Gunko, she pulls up on the Svarr. So we have the Colon Pirates versus Gunko. Maybe there's going to be a Brook interaction in the next chapter. I mean, he's definitely going to ask about Gunko's panties. We know how much she loves the Soul King. Would be really dope if we got to see that early on. Gabon mentioned earlier how he could sense the Holy Knight's voices. So I wonder, now that she's appeared right before Colon, does that mean we're going to get Gabon versus Gunko? I'm going to be honest, it's really hard to tell whether or not Gunko is going to be an actual threat. Not saying that she's not strong, but just in terms of what she's going to do, because Jinbei, he's a powerhouse on his own, and so in a 1v1 he may not necessarily be able to defeat her, and he very well could. I just think that he's enough to at least stall for time to allow the others to escape. Now if the other Holy Knight step in and everything that they could do, especially with killing him his manifestation ability, then it's another story. But until that happens, and we won't find out for a little bit because One Piece is on break, we're not sure. Let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.